This is definitely a good one because this is what happens with those beings who are on this planet who you pretty much knew from the get-go that there's like something off here. Like it's not like working right. Even though all the products, human products, they seem to be getting along and everything, something just new. You're like, I don't buy it. Sorry. So this is what this video is about. it's like um, it's like did school and society, I found, because when you realize these things, something's off, you start contemplating these things. It's important not to do so though without being too cynical or negative either. There's a purpose for this whole creation, so don't forget that part. Otherwise, you just become this pessimistic, cynical person, and even if what you're saying is true on paper, nobody wants to listen to you. So it's like society and school, I realized, they're not like teaching me the real education. They're not teaching me self-knowledge. What they're doing is teaching me, they're like building me. They're building this product. They're working for the matrix, so to speak, and because it's like an assembly line. You get born, and you go through the training. Society and school and parents and just the whole thing trains you to become this product. They teach you, how to act and what to say to be, to be polite, nice, and it's layered. It's so layered in delusion. We're going to go over all the delusions. I mean, the first illusion is that I'm born. There starts to become some self-awareness that there's like this little me, right? And then, oh, I'm a boy. Oh, I'm white. Yeah, right. I'm a white boy. I'm such and such age. I have family. It's my mom and my dad. I have these labels, brothers and sisters. Ooh, I have friends. Layered and layered and layered more as we go on. Religion, creed, sexual orientation, all these things. This is the product that most never come out of. They really think that's what they are. This product with the list of all these qualities, all these positives and negatives. Okay, we're here to kind of deconstruct that, allow the identity to continue on a provisional level, because like that's the game. The game is to be duped in delusion and then to realize, wait a minute though, this isn't really who I am. That's not taught. Look how much work you have to do to find a book or anybody to teach you real self-knowledge. Even the self-help field and spiritual field is also full of a lot of human products, like trying to sell products. They're talking spiritual so that you buy the product. And the talk that they're giving, they haven't actually, a lot of times, it takes work to find those, a lot of times they haven't actually realized what they're saying. They're just parroting a compilation of other things that they've read or heard or something, and now they're sharing that. So it's still a performance. It's still an act. I found this whole life is designed for the most part to teach you how to act, to give a certain performance that will then get you things that the Matrix tells you, this world, this life, that's the Matrix. It teaches you what to do to get ahead in the Matrix, but nobody questions the Matrix though. You're like, wait a minute, nobody's like getting ahead. Like, why does any of this matter though? See, Buddha questioned that. Buddha questioned that at some point because he saw a dead body laying on the side of the road when the gardener was driving him around, and he said, like, what's wrong with him? And the gardener says he's dead. He says he's dead? Well, then what's the point of life? What's the point? What's the point? Who cares? I'm living in a palace and I have all these things and I'm gonna die. So you can apply that to all your success and ambitions and your goals you're trying to achieve, and the money and the girlfriends and the cars, like having a family and this and that. Like, you're gonna die, or they're gonna die, or whoever dies first. What's the real point? Does that mean that you don't do any of these things? No. This is why I say the truth is hard for people to get. It's a paradoxical balance. The point is to realize these things. Then I was talking to my friend though. I'm like, even those, you see, we have these ready-made, conditioned answers and replies. You ask somebody that question I just posed, what's the point of doing all this if you're going to die anyway? They'll say, they'll just give some patent answer. Well, yeah, but we're here now, so we might as well enjoy it. Yeah, that sounds right on paper, but have you really contemplated that question though? Because if you contemplate that question, it's going to open up a whole new contemplation for you, and you're going to get some downloads then. But if you think you just give a mental answer, yeah, well, just like this or just like that, or Jesus will save us, or whatever, it means nothing. Have you actually realized the real truth? You can only realize it by an inner download. It has nothing to do with beliefs. Beliefs are weak. Or reading what somebody said, I believe them, doesn't mean anything. Have you been told by the source itself these things? And even then there's a trap. Yeah, I was told direct. Like God appeared and told me. A lot of times that's in the person's imagination. Can you discern? Do you really know the difference between a true, authentic, cosmic download versus just your mind and imagination playing? Most don't. So we're going through life. Yeah, I wrote some points because we want to get this right. So the whole school, everything, the media and advertising, everything's designed to keep us locked in this matrix. How? By making the matrix seem like it's the only real thing. So we were talking about the layers of delusion. So we're dipped in all this delusion with that there's a me, and then I'm male, and I'm such and such age, and I'm this gender, and this race, and this creed, and this sexual orientation, and these are my good points and bad points, and all that. It's a lot of delusion. Well, don't stop there. So then society teaches you what's important, like it activates your desires, shows you commercials and advertisements. Whoa, he's driving a sport bike. That got me. You know what got me before that? Rambo. I watched Rambo. I wanted to be Rambo. I'm like, that's what I need to do. Those who read my autobiography book, you saw that chapter. It's a good one. Losing my rifle. That's a chapter in my book. That's what happened. Because I didn't belong in the military, and I didn't care about what they're talking about. So I was very absent-minded. I forget my rifle everywhere I went, and I got in a lot of trouble over that. So I watched Rambo though, and I'm like, I need to join the military. You see, Rambo sold me on the military. And then I saw sport bike advertised. Like, I need a sport bike. I saw some actors like Hollywood. And then I saw all the girls running after him. Wow. I said, oh yeah, I need to be an actor. I'm gonna go do that. How do you come out of such delusion? Our minds are constantly being impressed by nonsense to keep the matrix alive. Because that's the way it works. That's what we're here to do. That's the job, or the special forces training that we signed up for, to be duped in deep delusion, but then somehow become awake in it. And the first step of that is being aware of the intensity of dupeness that we are in delusion. Because from that, naturally, organically, a spiritual practice will be born as a result of that. But you see, key word, naturally, organically, because you'll realize, wait, I don't have the power to come out of this. It's just too strong, like I can't come out of it. So then you start using healthy lifestyle habits. My True Health book is out. Talk about that. And preserving your sexual energy, have a book on that too. So that raises your vibration to give you more inner power so that you don't fall back into the dupeness. But then you realize, well, that's not even enough either. Talk about that too. I found plant medicine. This is the elixir. Talk about that in my plant medicine book. So then you realize at some point, none of these tools are enough. They're good tools, but they're not enough. I need a spiritual practice. I need to connect with the source itself because I need some real power here. Lack of power is my dilemma. I'm going to continue doing my healthy lifestyle habits, and I'm going to underpin that with the spiritual practice. Now this is doing something. Could take time though, because all this programming and conditioning that we absorbed from the false education we got from society and schools and everything else, that has to kind of get deprogrammed. That's why I had to go to India when I was like 27 or something. I had to get the hell out of here to get deconditioned. I somehow intuitively knew that. I would have ended up in prison or somewhere if I stayed here. That's why I understand why people go to prison, a lot of them. I've spoken prisons. A lot of them, they just couldn't take society anymore. So I understand that. They're not like this dark soul people, you know. Some of them are pretty shady, but most, they just didn't mean to, man. They got caught up and went crazy, and they put them all on a bunch of psych meds, and they went more crazy, and it's a tough, this isn't easy coming out of this this delusion. This is why I think it's funny when people make videos and say, oh, you just realize your pure self. You're already that. Man, do you think if it was that easy, like, do you really think it's that easy? That's my question. Anybody that thinks it's that easy means your day hasn't came yet to where life really tests you and breaks you open to where you see how flawed you still are. I made a video once, like, to really start growing, you have to become so sick of yourself, man, on a level that, like, you're just fed up with yourself. With this product that you become, you, like, can't do it anymore, but yet you can't stop doing it either. That's an auspicious place to be. It doesn't feel good, but you can call that hitting bottom. When you hit bottom, there's space, there's surrender, and then the divine can do something for you. And then your job after that is to stay vigilant and don't get complacent and fall back into the dupeness, because that's easy to do. There's a bunch of fallen angels out there. All right, so society's building you, telling you about all these things that you need and that's important. Oh, and I gotta look good and stuff too, right? That's important too. I gotta stay young. Yeah. Question that. What if this body's gonna die anyway? You know the reality of this body that you value so much. It's gonna be just Google skeletons or something. Google maggots crawling over skeletons, eating the flesh. That's the reality of your body. So what difference does it make? Oh, I stayed young an extra 10 years. Okay, if that does something for you. So the society teaches us to value, so all the commercials and ads, how to take care of the body and make it look nice and shiny, and buy this product and do these operations, etc. And fulfill all your desires and get a family and get kids and do this and that. Okay, to do all that, now that you think that that's important because you've been brainwashed into thinking all that's important, now you need a career or a job. You gotta, like, find some way to make a bunch of money, because that's a lot of stuff to, like, support and maintain. That's why I don't want anything, man. I like a simple life. Just even if you have a simple life, it's still not so simple, especially if you have any kind of karmic human bodily limitations. Some people, their whole life is it's work just to exist. Forget about getting a job and having a family and doing this and that. Just being in their body is, like, more than enough. Yeah, I know about that. Talk about that in my book. So, but if you want all these other things, you really got to work hard to get all those things. So then you get a career, and then you know, and do you ever question, why do I want to do all these things I want to do? Why do I want to make the money to go get what? And getting that's going to do what? Nobody does this contemplation hardly, that analysis. Now, I used to do that analysis, but in some things I'd still have to go do anyway, even though I knew it wasn't going to do nothing. That gets into my other video I made about talking about paradoxical sadhana. Sometimes this is the karma. You have to go experience these things. So it's not a one and you're done realization. I always say the mind can't understand these things that I'm sharing. If you're listening with your mind, you're going to miss a lot of what I'm saying. You're going to think you know what I'm saying, but you really don't know what I'm saying. Or anybody else that's talking in a spontaneous flow. You're not going to understand. The mind can't understand. It's paradoxical. So you do the analysis, you realize as deep as you can. It's up to God how deep you realize. It's up to evolutionary law, having these realizations. At the same time, respect to the human karmic machine that you're riding in. You still like gonna have to play the game. You play in the Matrix, but you don't be totally asleep. You don't forget that, wait, I'm like in a 3D game, like seriously. That's important. You gotta keep remembering that. Yeah, how can I forget this? A sexual instinct. I mean, that's like the glue that holds the Matrix together. If everybody was asexual, you know how different this world would be? And do you realize that the sexual instinct is just a software program? That's all it is. Doesn't mean anything. It's a software program. Okay, respect to the software program. Don't fight it. Don't try to fight it. You'll just look weird. Or end up like some of these priests who sometimes they take a vow of celibacy before they're ready, and then they end up doing weird things to the altar boys because like they're not nowhere near that level of consciousness to where they can just renounce their sexual desires. That's how strong the sexual instinct is. It's the second strongest instinct we have. Self-preservation is the strongest. So we have that. We're being trained to not only trained, the whole world vivifies this sexual instinct, makes it stronger. So then you're like, not to mention all the crimes that get committed over it, but you're like hungry to get with the opposite sex. And then when you get with them, a lot of times, then you end up like, whoa, we're supposed to have a kid now because like we're together. And now we need a house and we need a white fence to keep the dog in, and we have to do all these things, you know. Nothing wrong with that if that's your destiny. Go ahead and do it, but be awake when you're doing it. Don't think that somehow, like, you just want to try to stay as aware and conscious as you can. This is the way out. We're going to talk about that at the end. Oh yeah, and the body maintenance. Jeez. These machines we have, aka body, man, they're high maintenance machines. An animal body seems to work a lot better, and they get a better deal on some level. They can get scratched and beat up. They can get hit by a car and just kind of like shake it off. Some of these animals, they have babies. They only need the mother maybe for a day or two. And the mother like kicks them out. It's like you gotta muscle up now. But these little human bodies are so fragile. And then we got the emotional body. Oh no, sensitive. Can't be real or say certain things because like you're gonna hurt their feelings. Then maybe they'll get mad at you. Oh, then maybe if they're your boss, you really got to play the role now. They'll like fire you. Or if it's your significant other, maybe they won't give you sex if you know, I gotta act right. All this stuff, man. For a being who's coming out of that, this stuff somehow loses its importance. Not because you've done some logical deduction. No, you just see it. Clear seeing. This is the highest knowledge. Clear seeing. Forget about reading, studying, and all that. You can read my books, but you want to see things clear. When you do read things or watch videos, if they're authentic, that can help accelerate your own seeing. But ultimately, you have to be the one that sees it. You can't go by somebody else's word or testimony. I mean, you can believe it. It'll help. It's like a starting point. But ultimately, you have to hear and realize all these things for yourself as though you never heard them anywhere else. And then when you do hear them, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what they're saying now. It should be like that. So we're in this matrix and it's constantly being reinforced every day, all day, with society and your friends and your family and your commercials and the TV and just everywhere. It's reinforcing this matrix that you're living in. So how to come out of it. Like I said, I've talked about those things. You have awareness of it first. If there's no awareness of it, it doesn't matter. You could have the best diet in the world, and you could have the meditate 3 times a day for an hour. It's not going to matter. You're going to be doing it like you're still. It's the product on the assembly line that's doing it. And your motives for doing it are like abstract. You're just doing it because like somebody said it's good to do, or oh, I'll look younger. I remember I was teaching yoga. I don't know how many girls asked me, they wanted to learn yoga because I did one-on-one. I'm one-on-one person. I don't like classes because they're too collective and the frequency gets distorted because you have too many different people in there. So I was one-on-one. And how many times a girl wanted to learn the headstand because she thought it would make her look younger for longer. See, so everybody's motives are corrupt. So when you have awareness, you start coming out of this a little bit. It takes time. You know how conditioned we are, man? It's not just this life. It's lifetimes we've had this conditioning. But if you're jiving with this video, that means that you are coming out of it. Because otherwise you would never be attracted to this. You couldn't. You'd turn it off. So, now, a lot of you realize when you do start waking up, like what's the cost? Because we think in terms like, well, we're thinking about the good side, but you're going to start losing friends. You're going to, you're not going to be fitting in. You never fit in right anyway because you were already, you had these deeper tendencies to want to wake up, but they were kind of asleep. So that always made you a little off anyway. But now you're really going to be off because when you step into your truth and real knowledge, then it's going to be even more glaringly apparent. You're going to see reactions from people. You're not going to, you yourself aren't going to be able to go do the same things you used to do with people. I know somebody who I've known for years, and I watched the stages, how he goes through the things that in my own life too, the things he used to enjoy, but it's even more easy to see in somebody else. The things he used to enjoy and what he got a hit from, he can't really do that anymore. He still does some little things, to get the hit, but he knows he's doing it to get the hit, and he's somehow cooperating with the evolutionary process to help bring him out of that. That's all you can do, man. So you're going to feel a bit of a black sheepness when you start coming out of this. Now, what's the payoff though? Like, what's the good part? When you start coming out of this, number one, you're going to have more inner space. Your mind and your being's not going to be cluttered with so much noise and nonsense. Because sometimes I'd say, there's some people, they really like what I share. Oh, I really like what I share. But then when they have access to me, they don't bring anything like super strong or existential. They don't want to contemplate on those things. Their conversations are still very much worldly. I'm like, why? It's because there's still too much noise in them. There's too much clutter. There's no space to start to contemplate your true nature or what's going to happen to you when the body dies or any of these subjects. For a being who's more spacious inside, whose mind's more quiet, you can't help but start to think about these things. These are existential questions. You want to contemplate them. So when you're not being cluttered by all this, you're going to come back to some kind of natural homeostasis, inner homeostasis inside. And then you'll start to feel, wait, this is what balance feels like. This is what I'm supposed to feel like. And if somebody says, like, what did you do to get it? Is it because like you have money, or is it because you have a good job or a good girlfriend? No, it's like, it's probably because I don't have any of that. But your answer to them, or to yourself if you ask that question, it's like, no, man, it has nothing to do. It's with any external things in the matrix, it's just the opposite. It's because I'm being unplugged from the matrix. That's why I'm starting to feel some contentment inside. I didn't finish though with the bodies, because I think that's important. I was talking about how much maintenance these bodies require, and for some people more than others. Some people got no idea, man. You got no idea what some people have to go through just to exist in this body. So then you have the vanity aspect. That's a different subject though. But you have that too. All the obsession with these bodies are just ridiculous. Let's forget about the vanity thing, but that can keep you stuck in this realm for a long time, trying to keep up the body. But then what about illness and aliments and stuff? Then you need to get medical insurance. So I have to have my medical insurance, and that's a whole scam. And the dental insurance, and and then the point of sharing this though is to get, let's fast forward, how many people are scared to leave the body? They're like willing to take drugs despite their side effects, or keep undergoing operations which just cause more trauma, especially if you're already older, to try to stay alive longer. All this work and attention and energy that goes into trying to keep a burning candle lit. It's like when it's time for it to go out, if you've done the work, if you know who you are beyond this level of existence, man, you're happy to let it go. Let it happen organically. But that's a huge identity trap that the consciousness has with this body. And so we're here to overcome that. So I think I said everything. And the bottom line, man, stop believing in this human puppet so much. Be willing, be open to be shown how this is just a puppet. You want to cut those strings. Quit playing. You're playing your own self as a puppet. You just stop. Who are you beyond the puppet? This is what a true sadhaka starts contemplating. But a lot of times we can't reach that until we play as a puppet in the puppet world for long enough, and then suffer it, and then finally, like I said before, some real aspiration gets born to find out who we are beyond the puppet. So I'm talking more to those that like know that this human show's a puppet and they want to come out of it. Yeah, you'll come out of it. Like I say, if you're listening to this, if you're jiving with it, you'll come out of it. Trust God's timing. That's my message. I'll see you.